a lot different.
Oh yeah.
It's funny like when you actually see behind the scenes of a podcast, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Some shit here. This is the Wine Tasting with Comedians podcast. I'm your host, Lyall Behrens, and we have a very special guest.
Yes, sir.
The guy who you're the person I've known the longest that has ever done this podcast.
God damn, ain't that some shit?
Rudy Ortiz.
Yes, sir, man. Good to see you, Big Ly.
Good to see you too, man. You're actually the first Bay Area comedian to do it.
First one ever.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man! With all that wine we got up in Napa County, it was the first Bay Area dude to come down here.
No. All the Bay comics that live in LA, I don't fucking like them.
Okay, well that makes sense. Yeah. Don't bring on. You don't want to mix people that you don't like with wine.
Yeah.
The shit gets out of hand.
My shit. I'm not trying to ask how you're doing.
The truth comes out eventually. I feel you on that.
Yeah. So how you feeling? You just got in today?
Yeah, I just drove in today. Left the Bay Area like around 8 o'clock. Got here like around 1:30.
You don't look like it,
man. Because I took a little nap.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I checked into the hotel, took a little nap, and we've been just chilling like since about 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we pulled up and waited for you right here, and we talked to Mark, and Mark was like, Lyall. Lyall.
My reputation precedes me across our beautiful state.
Yes, sir. But it's all good though, man. It was a beautiful day to take a drive down the 5, baby.
Yeah.
We've taken that drive before, me and you, man.
We did?
Yeah, remember that one time we did that video?
I remember.
That dude, it was me, you, and Trevor Joyner. Shout out Big Trev, you know what I mean? That was a long time ago, bro.
It was.
Sheesh. Things on YouTube and it still only got like 45 views. It's like 13 years ago.
I remember we went to the beach in Ventura.
Yeah.
And then we got horchata and Hennessy.
Yes, sir.
And and then we mixed the two, and then there's a photo. You buried the Hennessy in the sandcastle.
That's right. That was a phenomenal moment.
Yeah.
And I think I want to say that I was the first one to combine horchata and Hennessy, but I definitely wasn't the last. It's
definitely not.
It's a very popular drink now, believe it or not.
All right. So last time I saw you, we was in Oakland.
Yes, sir.
And you got kicked out of a bar.
I did.
By the way, I'm not making Rudy look bad by saying this. Just so you guys know, it's very easy to get kicked out of a bar in Oakland.
Super easy.
You don't really have to do much.
Super easy. Like the guy thought that I was being like too disruptive, trying to interrupt people's conversations.
Wait. Let's set the scene.
I'm like, what the? Yeah, it was Drexel. We say it was Drexel? Yeah.
Which I've gotten kicked out of before and then let back in because the way I threw a glass bottle was too aggressive.
Oh, well, the shards of glass,
Yeah. And it was in the dumpster. I'm like, I'm recycling. What the fuck?
Oh, you were throwing in the garbage.
Yeah, no, I wasn't like slamming on the ground. I thought you were throwing like
across the room. Yeah,
No. It was like I threw it before I entered because I had my little portable drink.
Okay, well, mine was even more touchy. Like I was sitting there conversing with people at the desk like I do.
Wait, hold on. That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
You set the scene then.
So you went up. So it was these two girls there.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Blood, should I go talk to them bitches?" Like the one kind of busted, but should I talk to them? I was like, "Yeah, why not? It's a Wednesday." And he was like, "Fuck it." And then you go over and you start talking. And I don't hear everything, but all I heard you say to the one friend was, "Man, so is that why your eyebrows are bushy?" I heard you say something to that effect.
I was trying to make light, fun conversation, you know what I'm saying? But the bartender wasn't feeling it. So it was time for me to go at that point.
Yeah, he said 16 seconds.
Yeah. He gave me first time I ever had a countdown to get kicked out of an establishment. So it was ridiculous though. But good times though.
Good times.
Yes, sir.
Wait, and then you said you were getting a tattoo. Did you do that?
I didn't get it. No, I didn't get it.
I wanted to keep drinking that
night. Man. I know. It's like the alcohol will make you say some crazy shit sometimes.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, but it'd be like that sometimes. And that's precisely why I came here, because I know you got this delicious wine. And I was very interested when you sent me the map about the show, because you do it like I didn't realize that it was like a wine that describes the guest that you have on the show. Yes.
So that's what we do. I pick out a wine that reminds me of the guest, comedy and just their essence of being.
Right.
So for you, I got a Napa Cab Sauv. I got a Cab Sauv because Cab is very, very masculine.
Okay.
You are the epitome of Mexican machismo to me.
Whoa.
You are like, I've seen you get kicked out of places you don't give a fuck ever. We were in an Irish pub one time, and like, you know, we had some drinks, and then you yelled, no, it's fucking racist that like we can have the Vikings but not the Indians. That's fucked up. So only white men get to be strong.
Yes.
Fuck that pussy shit.
Yes, yes. And I stand by that. I stand by that position to this day. Only the white dude can be an invader in the sports world. Only the white dude could be like a thug in the sports world. They could be the Cowboys, they could be the Vikings, they could be the Raiders, they could be the Patriots, but we can't be the fucking Redskins. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit is that's crazy to me. Like even the Aztecs, they changed it. They were considering changing the San Diego Aztecs at one point.
Yeah.
I'm like, that ain't them. That's the name of the tribe. It's not like they were calling them, you know, the San Diego dishwashers or anything like that. Like they were being super accurate, and they even considered removing that. And I just think that's crazy, you know, because they get to keep the Vikings and the Cowboys and all this other shit, all this other Caucasian powerful, you know, labels, but the brown people can't have theirs. I'm not feeling that.
We did a show one time, and there was a staff member that was wearing a mask, and then you dedicated your whole set to telling them to take their mask off.
right. I was like, just let it go, man. All right, because you know it was right towards the end of the pandemic. I remember the show. It was towards the end of the pandemic.
No, it was after. It was 23.
Yeah, I mean, but at that point in the Bay Area, people were barely getting over it in 2023. You know, so it was just annoying to see somebody still wearing it at that time. You know what I mean? And I still see people wearing it now, but we knew back in 2021, 2022 that it was going to be people wearing that shit forever. Yeah. And here we are in forever, and people still wearing that shit.
And then the other thing is, so years ago, back when I was a bit more of a hothead,
right? I
had an altercation with a comic at a show,
right?
And they wound up with a black eye, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Lyall's so out of control." And then you said, "Blood, you ain't knock him out though. He was still standing. Like, I mean, you gonna feel good over a black eye? Like, he's still able to walk around after,
right? Yeah.
And he didn't leave after you did that. Like, he just like you. It's very, and you brought your like Mexican boxing dad rules to you don't even have kids,
no.
But like you brought your Mexican dad rules to me. So that's what I mean. Like, a Cab is very masculine. You represent like just my favorite kind of toxic masculinity.
Okay.
You when you get drunk, you're like 90% of the time, 85% of the time, like you're charming and fun. And then 15% you just turn into a fucking bully. Yeah. It's like, Rudy's an asshole.
But it's only 15% of the time.
It's 15%. Yeah, that's why
I make sure to try to sort that out. And that's only because I've been suppressing other emotions. And 15% of the time it just happens to seep out. You know what I mean? So it's not malicious. It's just, you know, the terms of my of my refusal to deal with my real problems. So it just pops out 15% of the time.
Spoken like a true Mexican man.
That's not that bad, actually. 50% is not that bad.
It's not.
It could be 30, you know, but it's 15.
So we got this here Napa Cat. This is my first time trying this. Okay. This is a 2021. And we'll swirl a little bit.
Have you become an expert at pouring it like that? I feel like this is...
Having this podcast has helped it.
Okay, yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, I'm just always...
Cheers,
got
bro.
the wrist motion.
So a Cab Soft.
Cab Sauv.
Cabernet
Sauvignon.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Get the notes for let me know.
Not bad. Still don't want to try some? Yeah, you want some? All right. Yes, okay. Now, I don't claim to be a wine connoisseur.
Well, what notes do you get, though? Whatever notes you get, that's the correct thing. I get a little tobacco.
Oh.
You get some...
Okay, I might sound out of my league here, but...
Okay.
Whatever. Okay, so it's very. I feel like a tartness.
Okay,
there's a tartness to it here.
Agreed.
And a bitterness at the same time.
Agreed.
And a sourness.
Okay.
And I like that. You know what I'm saying? I like the tartness, the bitterness, and the sourness. Nice little combination. I can see how this could totally be my thing. But like palatable.
Yeah.
And I could definitely go for another 2 or 3 of these right here.
And that feels like you.
Yeah.
It's perfect, right? Did I get you?
Yeah.
You feel like you're drinking Rudy?
I feel like I'm drinking the essence of Rudy right now. I like that. What? So I know that you weren't always a wine connoisseur, and I know we got stuff to get into, but I'm just curious though. What prompted you to do this idea in terms of comparing comics to wine?
I think it's a good way to get into wine.
Yes.
It's a good way to have a theme. And when you do, like, people are very interested in what other people think of them and how they're viewed, especially comedians and performers.
That's so true. I was just telling Sophia on the way over here, I was like, on the way over when I was reading the map, I was like, oh man, I'm kind of curious to know what kind of wine he thinks that I am. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because if it was any other liquor, I already know what you would pick.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? It'd be Hennessy.
Yeah.
Like right out the gate. But the wines though are different though, because wine is a lot like you know, like beers, like craft beers, you know, they're made a certain way, so they come with certain characteristics.
Yeah.
And that's I thought that was a very interesting way of like propping up the comics that you talk to. Yeah. And I like the one you chose for me, so I'm gonna start drinking this shit, whatever this is called.
Cab Sauv.
Cab Sauv.
Yeah.
Cab Sauv.
Cabernet Sauvignon. You go to the
Wine
wine shop, be like, can I get a cab? Like, there you go.
Now, when I get this store, they're gonna be like, "This motherfucker got some basic ass wine." Are they gonna say that?
Wait, where?
Like at Bevmo.
That's like a cab is kind of like most people's entry point into wine, like because it's like fruit forward. It's big. It's like for women, it'll often be like Chardonnay or Rosé will be their entry, and for men it'll be this. Or like if you're from the East Coast, maybe like more European, like maybe a Sangiovese.
Right.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah, this is like the most.
Well, I'm glad that you picked this one. Can I pour back up throughout the podcast?
Yeah, we're gonna drink at the bar.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing, man.
I've never heard you ask permission to do anything before.
Well, you know, the way you got it set right there, I'm like, is this part of this? It looks like it's part of the set. You know what I mean? I don't want to fuck up the set.
So one thing that's important with wine is real estate. Like, if I see Napa Cab, I'm getting that. If I see like, you know, Lodi Cab, I don't know. You know, so it's
too close to Stockton.
Too close to Stockton.
Yeah.
The imagery of the fucking phone lines.
My wine got to be 707, not 209.
Yeah. Exactly.
If my wine is 209, I might as well be drinking Carlo Rossi. Put it in a box.
and like the way real estate informs wine, I feel it also informs artists. So Rudy, where did you grow up?
I grew up in San Leandro, California, East Bay, south of Oakland. It's the next city down from Oakland. I grew up right there, man. I mean, just kind of doing a very uneventful. It was a very uneventful childhood, which is a good thing. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't call it boring. I wouldn't call it normal, because boring and normal are all subjective. But it was definitely uneventful in the best way possible. You know what I mean? I had a good upbringing with my folks. I had both of my parents there. Had one younger sister. Had a gang of homies that I grew up around, and I'm friends with a lot of them to this day. And I had the peace of mind at home enough so that I could, you know, just do whatever I wanted to do. So when I got into comedy, it really, you know, wasn't like it wasn't a shock to a lot of people. Yeah, because I was kind of like a ham growing up, and I like to talk shit, and I like to try to be funny and stuff. So it really wasn't like a shock, you know, when I started doing stand-up comedy. But like most comics, though, that's not where it started. Though it started with trying to be a rapper. Yeah, because if you're from the Bay Area, it's a must that you have to try to rap at some point in your youth. If
you grew up in the Bay, I'm gonna say between 1990 whatever and I'm gonna say 2014. Yeah, you either try to rap or make beats.
You had to. Yeah, it was like, it's almost like a rite of passage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of cool though, because it makes you feel like you go to other parts of the country and you see that like I've been in many freestyle ciphers, you know what I mean? And around the country, you know, you start smoking with some of the comics, or you drinking with the comics, and everybody, the more comics you meet, the more ex-rappers you meet. Yeah. That's really how it goes. So then eventually somebody decides that they want to start spitting, and of course, the rest of us, we all fall in line. Yeah. And one thing that I noticed is that you go around the country, and it's like, it's kind of dope to be from the Bay Area, because even the worst rapper in the Bay still got some bars compared to other rappers around the country. You know what I mean? It's very basic around the country, and in the Bay Area. Even
I don't know about East Coast though.
I mean, maybe you're right about that. I'll pay homage.
If you in Phoenix, like you go. You know, but that's still. I want to hear nobody rapping Phoenix.
That's still a pretty good number 2 to be behind. You know what I mean? So it's pretty good to be behind New York as in terms of number 2, in terms of just dudes that are just regular dudes that think they got bars, having quality bars. So I tip my cap to the Bay Area cats, man.
Do you think if you growing up in San Leandro gave you any different perspectives in Oakland or San Francisco had you grown up there?
No, not really. I mean, because Well, it definitely gave me a different perspective. Like growing up in Oakland versus San Leandro, I mean, it's two totally different worlds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
Yeah.
Oakland is, you know,
you cross that East Oakland line, shit gets peaceful quick.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's a totally different world. It's a totally different atmosphere. You know, it's like way more violence. The violence is way more prevalent. The disparities are way more prevalent. You know, which leads to the violence. And just the mentality is totally different. As soon as you go into Oakland, you just feel like your head is on a swivel. You come to San Leandro, and you could, you know, you could rest your shoulders and just kind of take a seat on a bench and just people watch. You know what I mean? So it's totally a different perspective. But you know, living Oakland adjacent makes you, you know, understand that there's other things going on. So you're very aware of the world that you're not a part of. Yeah. You're very aware of it. You don't claim to be a part of it. You don't pretend like you're a part of it, but you're very aware and sensitive to like what's going on, you know, 5 or 6 miles east. You know exactly what's going on. But you never try to, I never try to perpetrate in my life though, man. I never try to pretend that I was like an Oakland dude ever, because that shit is, my family, my entire family is from deep East Oakland, and they would never allow it. they would never allow me to even try to pretend to say that I was from Oakland. Like they would let my ass know real quick, you're from San Leandro, and don't ever pretend like you're not. You're from San Leandro.
It's funny because I got a friend who when I'm in Columbus, I check in when I was in Columbus last month. This young kid, he's like 26. His name's Pancho. Yeah. And Pancho, his family's from the Bay, and he'd be like, I mean, you know, I'm basically from like the Bay too. I'm like, bro, no, you're not. You from Columbus. You from Columbus.
Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah. But his family from the Bay.
Oh yeah, no. That by proxy shit don't work, man.
He liked to claim it because you know it's like wherever you're not from, like that's interesting to claim. But like if you in the Bay, you can't be like, oh, I'm from Hayward, but I want to claim East Oakland.
No, it don't work like that. Yeah. The Bay Area is one of those places where it's like it's cool to be from the Bay. You can say you're from the Bay, but once you start getting real specific about where you are from the Bay, what part of it, then you start your personality starts to unfold. People start to understand you a little bit more. Like we are from the Bay, but there's a difference between being from Vallejo and being from Sunnyvale. You know what I'm saying? Like we're I mean shit, and those are two ends of that's North and South Bay. Even in the East Bay, like I just said, there's a huge difference between being from Oakland and San Leandro.
Just being from the West and the East is different.
Absolutely, being from the city and being from Hayward. Yeah, you know, totally different atmosphere, totally different upbringing and stuff. So yeah, it's cool to be from the Bay. We could all be from the Bay. Well, not all of us. Like, you know, some people from Sacramento will say they're from the Bay, which is crazy. And I'm kind of glad that they're finding their own rhythm. And it's like they're proud to be from Sacramento now. Even people from Stockton, like I'm glad that they're saying they're from Stockton now, so we can just start sorting this shit out. You be from over there, we'll be from over here, and that's cool. And there ain't no problem with that.
So wait, real quick rap question. You did open for Too Short, didn't you?
I did. Me and my homie Efren. This is back in 2000 and I want to say like 2007. Yeah. Just it was a quick show. Like we were able to. It was Too Short. It was Beta Weeda. I don't know if you remember Beta Weeda. Nah. It was Mr. Fab. Yeah. And me and my homie, we had done enough to get in touch with one of the promoters who was like, if you guys get here to the Fox Theater in Salinas at this time, we'll let you guys open the show. And that's what we did. And it was pretty sick, man. Like we felt like some G's at the time, you know?
Of course.
But they didn't let us go backstage to smoke with everybody, so that kind of killed our dream. Like, as soon as we were done with our performance, we were like, oh shit, we did that shit. And then we tried to go backstage, but they were like, nah. We had to have like a certain VIP pass, or you know, we just didn't have it. So we had to smoke in the alley on the side of the theater.
So fast forward to today. Yeah. You tour with Frankie Quiñones.
I do, yep. Fortunate enough to open up for him.
So one thing that we both have in common is we have both toured opening up for famous comedians, famous guys that can sell $30 tickets across the country.
Right. And sell out.
Yeah, and sell out. So like a lot of comics would be like, man, how'd you get that? How'd you get that with them? Why'd they pick you? Like the thing that, at least with my guy, Sammy, is I've known him for like over 10 years. Right. So it's like, I think those guys, it's like when you're in that position, you want people that it's like, okay, you know them. And then when you're with a guy where it's like they're famous rising, especially if they're kind of more naturally introverted. Right. As both our guys are. Yeah. Is they do want a guy that is more outgoing, but it's also like they know they can be comfortable being in their different moods around you. What do you think are the key things to having a comic be like, yo, open for me?
Well, I think number one, you got to remember, bro. Like
to being an attractive opener.
Yeah. Well, number one, you got to be good at comedy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's first and foremost. Because I know that it's a common thing that's said amongst some headliners wanting a guy who's not that strong to open up for them. But I haven't found that to be true. Like whenever I've had an off night, Frankie has always like brought that to my attention. Almost like, hey, bro, like, are you okay? Because it doesn't sound that last set didn't feel like you or whatever. So I could tell that he wants somebody to be on their P's and Q's. So definitely, I would highly recommend to be good at what you do and be willing to like bring it every single night, no matter what the crowd, no matter what city, no matter how you feeling. You got to go out there and perform. Because of number two. Point number two is that you are working for that person.
Yeah.
And you got to remember that.
You got to let go of all your artistic shit.
You got to let go of your ego. You got to put that shit to the side. You got to understand that this person is bringing you on the road with them. It's their tour. And if they're asking you to open for them, you got to treat that like a job. If you don't want to do that, that's cool. But you probably won't get invited back to open up for somebody who's trying to like build something. They're trying to get some momentum going. And the last thing that they need is the person that's in their camp fucking it up. You know what I'm saying? like just acting ridiculous or acting crazy. And believe me, I've been there. Because I've been on the road with Frank for a long time, so I've done some wild shit on the road. I've shown my ass, on the road, and it's like that shit will get you kicked off of a tour if you're not careful.
Has he ever like threatened to kick you off?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
We got into it one time, and I won't go into the details, so I can spare him the embarrassment. But he told me straight up, he was like, bro, if you're gonna be acting like that, I can't take you on the road if you're gonna be like a loose cannon. You know what I mean? So we got to check that, otherwise some changes might have to be made. And I gotta have to make that decision in that moment. Like, do I really want to be a loose can? Do I want to fuck up this good situation that I got going on? Not just with the great comic, but also my friend, because I've known Frank for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's how I got on the tour with him to begin with, because he asked me to host for him many years ago on a Wednesday before Creeper and Cholo Fit really took off. And luckily I said yes to that, and I've been there throughout the evolution of it. And now the man is selling out. He just did his Hulu special a month ago, and he's doing big things now. So I've been very fortunate to hang around this long and to kind of see it all unfold.
No, it's beautiful to see. I remember running into him around Civic Center, and this is like, I can't remember which year. It's like 2012, something like that. And I run into him like, hey, what's going on, man? He's like, man, just drop a resume off at a supermarket. And I'm like, damn. Yeah. And then now here he is. It's
now
like,
here he is.
Just seeing the difference 10 years more, like shit, less than 10 for him. But yeah.
I mean he's been at it for a long time though.
Yeah.
But the creeper Cholo Fit thing that really catapulted him, like I would say that blew up like in the last eight years, like really, really took off, So it just goes to show, man, you gotta have some stick-to-itiveness, you know what I mean? And gotta have some perseverance, make this shit pop.
So like, let me ask you, like when you be at them sold out shows and you see all them people there for him,
yeah,
like is that because this is where my mind goes? Because my mind goes there, like opening for Sammy. It's like, how many of his fans will fuck me? Like you be, like you be thinking that?
No, well, I guess there have been times when I was on the road and
because with Sammy's different. It's all like a bunch of like nerdy bitches. They at least like, I'm Mexican, they Mexican, yeah. Like it's
not, you know what? If I had to look at Frank's crowd, I would say very few, because Frank has a very particular he has a very particular crowd. Yeah, I'm not I don't give off Cholo vibes.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm Mexican as fuck, but I don't give off Cholo vibes. Matter of fact, I wore this shirt to pay homage to LA. This is like my most Mexican Chicano shirt that I own.
I thought it was your Tony Soprano shirt.
Well, there's some similarities between the Cholos and the mob. But I don't really give off Cholo vibes. And I'm not saying that every single one of his fans are like into the Chicano culture, but a lot of them are.
Oh, when I was at the Ice House, they was cooning. When I was in that green room.
Bro, exactly. So to answer your question, I mean, I don't think very many would, because I just don't give off that. I don't have that dynamic in my arsenal. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me ask you, and this is a question for the both of us. On which famous comedians tour with their fan base do you think we would get the most pussy? Like opening for who?
Which famous comedians tour?
Yeah. Like we would have the highest percentage rate of being able to fuck their fans.
Man. It would have to be somebody like Big J. Okerson. I don't know.
What, for me or you?
For both of us. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It would have to be some real like party party animals.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Some people that just don't give a fuck. They're just looking for a story. they just looking for a story to tell the next day. You know what I mean?
I fucked a comedian at the Houston Improv.
Right.
Something like
I don't know
that.
what his name is, but I think it was Middle Eastern or Mexican. I can't tell. I don't remember. They looking for a story to tell, bro.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of crowd that I think Big J has. Like people that just come out, they want to party, they want to have a good time, get fucked up, and then just see how the dice roll out. You know, so. If that's what you're looking for, bro, like we need to holler at Jay. We need to holler at Big J, man.
All right, let's do a little fun, quick and rapid fire round. So most Bay Area people are very biased about LA, but I actually trust you.
Okay.
I trust you to be, because you're also a Dodgers fan.
Right. Huge Dodger fan. Die hard.
So Bay Area or LA, who does it better?
Okay.
Mexican food.
I gotta say LA.
Really?
I gotta say LA because look, man. The Bay Area, the one thing that we got on LA when it comes to Mexican food is the burritos.
Agreed.
That's it though. Because everything else is just by proxy. It's more authentic out here because it's closer to the motherland. So there's just no way that the further up north you go. I mean, don't get it twisted. There are definitely some pockets in the Bay Area and that in my region where they're gonna go all out. You know what I mean? But for the most part, though, they're not going to go all out. But now let me say this. After the Bay Area, after the question of 1A versus 1A, 1 and 1A being the LA and the Bay Area, there's nowhere else. Nobody else. Whoever's third is a distant third. I don't
know. San Diego, they got some good seafood.
We were in Portland.
Yeah.
We were in Portland like a month ago. And we went to a Mexican spot. And this place was garbage, dog. I can't remember what it was called. Otherwise, I would say right now. But it was bad because it was Mexican Americans serving Mexican food, but in the American fashion, which means they were slow as fuck. The food was not put together well, you know, and they were just trying to do it like McDonald's. They wanted to have like a program going. A real Mexican spot is gonna have one dude that's got a hairnet on, that's angry, that ain't had a break in 12 hours, and he's just fucking whipping it up. You know what I'm saying? And he makes the best food.
That's what I love about Farlitos.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Yeah. He's just been in taco mode all day long. So one is LA, aside from burritos. 1A is the Bay Area, and then whoever's number 2, 3, and 4 is a distant 2, 3, and 4. They are far away. Fresno might say some shit, but I don't believe him, bro. Everything is too dry out there, so I can't believe that the food could be that good.
Better nightlife, LA or the Bay, and I mean from dive bars to clubs, whatever you want to do.
Well, this one is a little more subjective. I'm gonna say the Bay, but let me tell you why. I'm gonna say the Bay because you know we had this conversation recently about how the Bay Area feels like an old place.
My same guy, Poncho, when he was out from Columbus, he said, I noticed I didn't see a lot of like young people when I was in the Bay.
Right. But precisely for that reason, though, Lyall, that's why I prefer the Bay Area nightlife because I could find some. I'd rather have small pockets of the Bay Area be full of a lot of raging nightlife that I can go to and just have the rest of it be slow and dive bar-ish where I could just chill normally. Versus the opposite. The opposite would be like in LA, where so much of LA is covered of raging fun, and I can't avoid it. I got to go seek out the dive bars, you know. So I'd rather be in a place where I can go, where I know where the rage is at, and I can go to it, and the rest of it is just dive bars and just chill. Versus the other way around.
I gotta go LA, man.
I mean, but why do you got to go LA? Because you just like how it's just like more wild.
There's more diversity of what you can do.
Diversity is overrated.
No, it's not. Like
diversity is overrated.
It's like you want a dive bar, you want a club. Like, what do you want?
But what do you really want though? What do you?
I like a lounge. I want a lounge.
Yeah, most people just want a bar. Most people just want a bar to go chill at. You know what I mean?
That's good to have. I have times in Oakland where I'm like, man, I want some more. Because like you go out in Oakland, it feels like everybody knows everybody.
Right.
You don't have anonymity, and then you go out in San Francisco. It's all like within a kind of tech feely culture.
Okay, so
that's what I mean. Like I don't always want the same vibe when I go out.
Right, and and I guess in LA people forget about each other so fast that everybody's a stranger.
Yeah.
The very next day you might have just met the motherfucker.
And that's how I want to go out. I don't want to go out like knowing motherfuckers.
Okay, I feel you on that. I see why.
All right, let's rip through these. Getting laid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Better LA or the Bay? Getting laid. Which one? Which one do you think is easier?
I'd have to say the Bay Area because I know that.
Agreed.
I know it better. You know what I mean? And
no, we can move on. No, the Bay.
I was gonna say, and I feel like LA is just too many girls that are just like looking to be stars, and I can't help them with that. I got nothing to offer in the star department.
Who's got the better black woman mayor, San Francisco or Los Angeles?
The lady from LA, she's the one who got punked by Trump, right? Like
Karen Bass.
Yeah, Trump said some wild shit to her, right?
He did.
I'm gonna say, and she's no longer the mayor, but I'm gonna say London Breed.
Okay.
I'm gonna say London Breed because I think she was a little more in touch with the culture. And I saw a lot of black people in the Bay Area really like support her. Not all of them, obviously, but I saw a lot of black support for London Breed while she was in office. So that leads me to believe that she was a better black mayor.
Why can't she just be a mayor? Why she got to be a black mayor?
I don't know. You posed the question like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
what the voters said when they voted her out. Why got to be a black one?
That's funny. Better city to be a transplant in. What you think?
L.A.
Okay.
Yeah, L.A. Yeah, because now there's where the wild west feel. There's where that helps you out a lot. In the Bay Area, yes, it's smaller. People do know each other a little bit more, and you kind of are gonna feel like you ran your course in the Bay a lot quicker versus L.A.
Most overrated thing about L.A. and the Bay, and most underrated thing about L.A. and the Bay.
The most overrated thing about the Bay Area is how everybody thinks that the Bay Area is just like a snotty, like people up there are very uppity. I don't know if it's the tech culture that
I wouldn't disagree with that.
You know, I think that people get this perception that people from the Bay Area think that we're better than everybody else.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean,
hood niggas are like uppity in the Bay. Like,
yeah.
see, I don't want you to know that Nelson Mandela is from Oakland. Like,
Yeah.
David, you know.
But it's like that's what I like that though. I like the fact that people are in the Bay Area are willing to just talk about. I just feel like it's not uppity.
But then you got to own that though.
Yeah, you do, and you got to stand on it.
Yeah.
And it's like here's the thing. This is why I feel like the Bay Area dudes are not uppity. Bay Area people are not uppity. We're just a little bit more sophisticated. And I know that sounds uppity as fuck, but let me tell you why. Dudes in the Bay Area apologize at a rate that other people around the country will never touch. Because there's a level of like self-consciousness in the Bay Area. All right, I fucked up. All right, no, I've seen more confrontations amongst thugs and thug adjacent types come to a peaceful ending through conversation in the Bay Area versus any other place in the Bay.
I gotta give you that.
It's like we're trying to. Everybody in the Bay Area is trying to look at the big picture. At some point, we're all trying to look at the big picture, so that allows us to kind of get through situations a little smoother.
All right, I think we can just get out of this segment. No, that's good. I want to do one more segment with you, and it's rapid fire. So just go for it. Just give me Mexican Irish, and then we'll get.
Yeah. I was curious what Mexican Irish was.
Okay, Mexican or Irish? Who owns it? Who does it better?
Who does their
who owns it? Who owns it? Who does it better? The thing I'm about the stuff I'm about to ask you.
Oh, okay.
And then just say the one, and then we'll just get through it. Fighting / boxing.
Mexican.
Bottling their emotions inside.
Irish, because Irish don't have no mariachi type of situation. They don't have no mariachi where you literally grown men cry and they hug each other and shit.
Holding their liquor.
Probably the Irish.
Beer making.
Irish. Mexican beer is not that great.
Whiskey or tequila?
Tequila. I love whiskey. Don't get it twisted. But tequila is better for me. Tequila won't ruin me like whiskey will.
If I'm with a chick, I'd rather drink tequila than whiskey.
Yeah, tequila for sure.
Better Catholics. Who's better being Catholic?
That's a great question. I'm gonna say Mexicans are, because we are so far away from our oppressor, our religious oppressor. The Irish are so close to them, and I think that creates a great conflict that as a Mexican I admire. I wish the Spanish were 40 miles away from us so we could fuck them up every now and then. The Irish get to fuck around with the English all the time. They get to start wars with them. They started the IRA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they get to really like unleash their oppression. We don't. We're Mexicans are religious slaves, that's been embedded deeply into our brain and into our culture, and we'll never escape that. So for that reason, we're better at being Catholic. But it's not for the reasons that I like, though.
I'm not gonna ask women because I ain't gonna do that. Whose flag uses red, white, and green better?
Well, the Mexican one, but that's only because the Irish one is orange, white, and green.
All right, fuck that up.
Yes.
All right, first segment. So, what's his name? What's the boy's name?
Virgil?
No, not Virgil. What's his name?
Mexican OT.
Mexican OT.
Yeah, his real name is Virgil.
Virgil, okay, yeah. Virgil, yeah. I ain't calling him Mexican.
Which I'm a fan of his music.
Yeah, he got some slaps. So what's funny is when I was in Oakland, you said to me, man, so what's going on? What's up with the Black and Mexican relations in LA, man? What's up? And I said, oh shit, Rudy been on threads. He been on threads.
This ICE shit got me fucking reading everybody's posts and everything.
Like, this ain't our fight.
This ain't our fight, man. Y'all weren't there for BLM. I'm like, oh shit, they remember. They taking notes.
It was fun. I saw this older black dude, this Uber driver. He was like 52 years old, and he's like, they talking about where we at the protest. But I think they doing a good job without us. I think we will hold them back. I think we probably fuck it up a little bit. We
might start playing the music too loud.
Yeah.
Are we rebelling or are we dancing? What the fuck are we doing, man?
They might throw on like fuck Donald Trump. Like, hold on, I voted for him now. I voted for him. My roofing business is doing good there in Trump. Not Biden. Not Biden. Or Obama.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, so that Virgil was on Lip Service podcast, right. And he was confronted about his use of the N-word, and to which he said, who's gonna stop me? And then after that, he said, black people, y'all was dropped off first, but and I'm like,
oh, I didn't hear that part.
I
only saw the clip.
Yeah, no, he said y'all was dropped off. I'm like, oh, he think he Fat Joe now?
Oh, so he was going for that angle of like, we're all black, you guys were just dropped off first?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I've heard that before from Caribbean, from people,
Puerto Rican, Cuban,
from people that are trying to call out Caribbean black people that are like, hey man, why are you denying your Africanness? Yeah, man, it was crazy to hear that, and it's like telling you, bro, like Mexicans got to understand, bro, like there's no explaining your way out of that. You either gotta explain why you use the N-word all the time, or you just gotta stand on business and just give the basic ass answer of like, man, that's just where I'm from. That's just how I grew up. He made the mistake of trying to illustrate how much he stood on business, and unfortunately, it ended up sounding super confrontational. And that's what made him look like an asshole in that moment.
Well, yeah, because he said, like, eat with y'all, fight with y'all. And like, who's going to do something? It can't be I'm with y'all and then fuck you do something. It's like you got to choose one.
And here's the thing, though. I don't even really think that he meant it that way. I mean, I was trying to play pseudo psychologist when I saw the video, and I'm trying to listen because I heard the way that he built it all up. And it always gets built up the same way. I mean, literally, it's the same recipe for any non-black dude that uses that word, explaining why they use that word. It's always the same thing. It's where I'm from. It's how I grew up. I was raised with them. I was raised with everybody. We all say it where we're from. I mean, the Bay Area is the perfect example of like the recipe for how you explain that away. You're not black.
Black people from across the country hate that shit too.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's become like a highly accepted way of explaining why you use that word. Now,
which I don't fuck with. I don't think it's enough pushback on that. Yeah. I think it's like,
but see, this is where Virgil got in trouble, where Mexican OT got in trouble, but also the point that I understand what he was trying to make, because the truth is like. What is gonna happen if he uses that word in his rap songs? Like, people are dancing, people are enjoying the music, and he's meeting success. Like, what's gonna happen if he uses the word? Like, clearly what's been happening is that he's becoming more and more successful. So, but unfortunately, the way that he said it made it sound like I wish somebody would try to get me to stop saying it. I don't think that's how he meant it. But I think he was trying to pose the question like, so what's the big deal? Like if I use it, then what's going to happen?
Because I think that is how he meant it.
Oh, you thought that he was like
because he said if there's a man, there's no man in the room. Okay, fine, we'll use you. what you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
It's like what you like he really did say, I wish a nigga would.
Right.
And but then with that context of who he is, it feels more like I wish a nigger would.
Wow.
And that's how yeah.
So for you that jump was straight to the ER? Like that
the feeling
really?
But yeah, cause it can be a feeling.
Uh-huh.
Nigger, it can be a feeling more than like the actual word. Like if you say oh, you speak well, I'm like, the fuck you mean?
Right.
Like, then it's a feeling.
Right.
And because to me, it's like, it doesn't always like, it's like the devil doesn't always appear with like horns. Sometimes the devil's seductive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
I gotta tell you, man, like when I see it, when I meet a dude that's under 30, unless it's like a white dude from, Connecticut or a white dude from Florida, where that type of like hate is deeply embedded in the culture of their region. This Mexican dude from Texas and dudes like him, I just don't get that ER energy from them.
It's not an ER. It's not. They mean it in the ER, but that's the way it feels back. Like fuck you, do something. And
right.
Because it's like you are a guest when you do that. Like you are a guest within this world.
Yeah, the fuck you do something energy. I could totally get that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I wouldn't make the jump to be like, that's what he thinks of black people. Like he thinks black people are.
That's not what he thinks of black people, but it's this entitlement though.
Right.
Is where the ER energy comes from. I don't think he thinks that way about black people. I think he's just kind of like. He's like,
yeah. See, I would the entitlement thing. I'm with you on that because that did, like I said, it came off as extra.
Because like black people be kissing Mexican ass.
Really?
You don't think so?
Kissing Mexican ass? Like how so? How so?
Well, maybe you've been on Threads too much. But I'm saying,
no, how so though?
Like in a real I don't really mean kissing Mexican ass, but I mean like yeah, y'all invited cookout, bring y'all carne asada. Like black people do and I don't think it's just with Mexicans. I think black people do. Like when we are integrated, we make a point to be more like inclusive.
Right.
And I think that also comes from like a little coon mammy space too, which we don't need to get into right now. But yeah, like that I do. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it would be ass kissing. Sometimes I see black people be like impressed by what non-black people do, that things that are usually relegated and considered to be like black specialties, like singing, doing like a sick ass TikTok video of a dance, like all these things that are considered to be black people's specialties and black people's superpowers. Sometimes I see black people get really excited with others when they do a good job at it. And I think that it's an attempt to try to unify people. I don't think that I don't really feel like they're kissing people's ass. I feel like they're trying to give props, because I see that with Mexicans too. I see that with like when a white person or a black person or a Chinese person comes to a Mexican person's house, and if they say the words, oh, orale, if they could literally just walk into the house and say, orale, and everybody be like, oh my God.
I gotta tell you something, you right there. I probably have been a little too traumatized by Chicano studies majors. They're like, why would you say that? Stop practicing your Spanish on me.
But
that's probably like more of me.
That's one thing about Mexicans though that I've always cracks me up. Like we don't believe in cultural appropriation. That's
true.
We don't, because that shit is funny to us.
That's why Mexicans are my favorite audiences to perform for.
Yes, bro.
Because it'd be like, hey, fuck it, we do that, man.
We don't believe. The only people that believe in cultural appropriation are like these third generation Mexican American kids that are so far removed from the motherland that aren't really like Mexican American. They're American with Mexican roots, and they think that they feel entitled to partake in cultural appropriation culture, because that's a culture in and of itself. Cultural appropriation culture is a culture in and of itself, and there's a lot of third generation No Sabo kids that are really hyped up about it because it gives you a cause. It gives you, it's the Latinx community, you know what I'm saying? Like it gives you a reason to stand up and fight, and you get to wave a flag like everybody else. And it's watered down. It's kind of cheap if you ask me,
Yeah.
But real Mexican Americans, like it's funny to us. My black homies, they could do all that shit. They could dance to La Chona. We be laughing.
That's true.
That's fun to us. It's fun to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Jamaicans are like that too. Because you go to Jamaica, they like you go to they want you to, they're like, wagwan man, everything.
Right.
Like they like that. And I was like, y'all don't find it offensive? And then dude was like, no, we find it funny when y'all talk like us.
Absolutely,
man.
bro.
But in the Bahamas, they don't play that shit, and they closer to America.
Interesting.
The Bahamas, like, I did that, and there's like, hey, you're not in Jamaica, man. Cut that shit out, man. I was like, oh shit. Like,
cultural appropriation. People are, I know people of color in America. We kind of have taken on the command of that ship of the cultural appropriation ship. But what people in America have to understand is that you think you're participating in something special, but you're just being an annoying ass American. Because cultural appropriation culture is just another example of you have the privilege of being able to complain over some shit that other people around the globe don't give a fuck about. Nobody in Guatemala or Honduras or in Mexico has ever in their life been bothered by the fact that somebody who's not Mexican wants to, sing their music or wear their costumes, because they got real shit to worry about. You know what I'm saying? In America, even the poorest of us all here in America, we don't have the same problems that somebody from the third world has. They got real problems. So we have to invent our own problems so that we feel like we're living a life worth living. That's why the American, psyche is so weak, because we have to create our own problems. We're literally creating our own problems because we have no real problems.
All right, so there's something I want to ask you, right? So, a Nicaraguan friend of mine, he had this take about Mexicans.
Okay.
He said Mexicans are the rednecks of Latino culture. He said, like, they drink beer, they in the cowboy shit.
Interesting.
They hella racist.
Okay.
You know, like, what's your take on that?
He's not wrong about those three things that you just said. Those three things that you just said. We love drinking. We pride ourselves on that. It's part of our culture. The bottle of tequila is just as sacred as the Virgen de Guadalupe. They're on the same level. The cowboy shit, I've been telling people this for years, like, cowboys in America, the idea of a cowboy is just a ripoff of a Mexican. That's all that is. Mexicans came first, and then cowboy culture came after that. So whenever you see white dudes with boots and hats, they're just doing what they saw Mexicans do 200 years ago. So it's just a ripoff of a Mexican. Everybody should know that. The cowboy is just a ripoff of a typical Mexican. And the racist part is absolutely true. Absolutely. Mexicans, if they could have it their way, it would be like no integrated families. Yeah. It would just, everybody would just be cool and just separate, separate but equal. They're the greatest proponent. They're the greatest advocates for separate but equal. Because we're not assholes. We just don't want to mix. Like that. That's the typical Mexican mentality.
How well do you think I know Mexicans? I think I know Mexicans
pretty well, especially because I know that you're a man of nuance.
Yeah,
and I've seen you do Mexican impersonations, and sometimes you hit it spot on to the point where I'm like, did this motherfucker, like, has he been watching us from like the vent somewhere? Just like, has he been watching us eat dinner all these years? Like, what is he doing?
Okay, so one thing I posted, because I like to post these things where like I make shit up all the time on social media, but I like to like just kind of write in character. And the thing that I wrote was Mexican dads back in 1997 would be like, hey, like, if you want to like, date a black guy, like that's your business, but just know he gonna get kuno when he want to, he gonna work when he want to, right. It's like, and he gonna like be a daddy when he want to. So it's a mayate mind state.
Hey. Bro, and that's in that dude's mind, he's being cool about it.
Yeah.
He's being real cool and real advanced about it. He's being real sophisticated. He's a man of the times, but he's still shitting on that black dude with the stereotypes.
And I felt that in my soul when I wrote that. And then you were like, you said something like, my next book is gonna be called Mayate Mice.
Bro, it's so true though, man. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because obviously it's not true, but it's like these stereotypes are so deeply embedded in black and brown people's mentality in America that, bro, it's gonna take a couple of generations to shake that shit. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a first generation Mexican American, like you've come home and like you've seen your family be questionable, like, I don't know, like, should we let him in the house? You know what I'm saying? Like who was that guy that you were hanging out with? Is that your boyfriend? You can hear all these questions popping up, especially when it's about a black dude, because Mexicans, unfortunately, like adopted that mentality that white people adopted a long time ago, which is like too different.
Yeah,
too different. It's two totally different worlds. There's no reason to mingle them up. And unfortunately, Mexican people have learned to love white people. That's why we love Jesus so much, because he's white Jesus. You will never go to any church in Mexico and see a dark Jesus.
No.
He ain't not even black. Just dark, like me.
You barely see dark people on Univision.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. So unfortunately, like, you know, and I'm totally speaking in general here. I'm sure there's somebody out there saying, no, that's not how my family. All right, well, the world doesn't revolve around you.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm speaking in general. This has been my experience, and you know,
hey, let me ask you
think
something.
I'm pretty on point.
So I had a Mexican girlfriend. You guys didn't like each other.
Right.
He finally admitted it.
I'm like, right.
After 10 years, he finally admitted it.
I wasn't a fan of her.
Yeah, no, a lot of people weren't, though. In fairness, a lot of people weren't a fan of her. But you guys definitely, and you guys were like very extreme, different versions of Mexicans.
Right.
And one of the women I've had sex with this year, the only woman, the one I've had sex with this year.
Come on, ladies. Come on. He's got wine. He's got a podcast. Come on. He's willing to take your dad's criticism. You know?
Yeah, I am. I love it. It gets my dick hard for some reason. It's like, I'm like, oh yeah, tell me more about how I don't want to get a real job. Because you know I be having sex with Mexican women.
Yeah.
Do you feel closer to me knowing that, or is it like all the same?
You know, I feel like we and you can have more conversations about like the aftermath.
Yeah.
And the consequences of being with a Latina woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll understand what I'm saying when I bring up the fact that, you know, marriage is on the horizon. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's right around the corner. Like that's part of like the Latina culture, the Latina mindset. You have sex with me, you know, if we don't have a baby, we're gonna get married. And if we don't get married, I'm probably gonna have a baby. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna happen. So yeah, I do feel we have a kinship in that regard.
Oh, that's so much shit to tell you after this. That's so much shit to tell you.
I need to hear about that one girl.
Yeah.
I gotta hear about that one girl.
I'm saying, I just said that for a joke. As we wrap this up, final thing. Well, no. We don't. I feel like we got enough. With that said, any where you at next? Anything you want to plug?
What I want to do? I'm doing. I'm gonna be at the Sawa. I don't know when this is coming out, but I'm gonna be at the Sawa.
This is gonna come out tomorrow.
Oh, Sawabe Casino in Arizona, in Sawabe, Arizona, with Frankie Quiñones opening up at the Sawabe Casino. And then I'll be, if you're in the Bay Area and you're watching this, make sure to come to Tommy T's September 12th through the 14th. I'll be there all weekend. And if you want to plan something out far out, make sure to come to Laughs Unlimited in Sacramento. I'll be headlining Halloween weekend, October 31st and November 1st at Laughs Unlimited in Sacramento. Shout out, Jenny. Thanks for the booking. I love you so much. Appreciate you.
She banned me.
She banned you.
Yeah. She banned me from Laughs Unlimited. You know what happened?
What happened?
So I did like weekend at Laughs with Trenton Davis.
Okay.
And we was at the comedy condo in Sac.
Right.
And then and like, look, early that day, I helped my ex-Jewish girlfriend. She was moving. I helped her move all day. I was tired. I took the Amtrak up, and then I was out with Trenton back when he like smoked and drank, and then we're drinking till like 3 a.m. And then the host, Tony Lay, the Fresno dude. Yeah. And then like we're there, and then at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., like, I gotta tap out, guys. Apparently, I slept, walked, and peed in the dryer.
In the dryer, bro?
I didn't know. I thought it was a toilet.
Because the dryer is up top. How the fuck did you get
washer? Maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say the washer because you got to put the arch on it.
And then at the end of the weekend, we got this email like, I found urine and it was disgusting. And then Trenton called me up, and I was like, "Yo, man, like, I don't remember doing that, really." And then he's like, "Well, like, we could put it on Tony," and I'm like, "I ain't want to do that."
Damn, bro, you slept walking, pissed in the
I did
amenities. Damn, bro. Man, you should put that. Did you turn it on at least, or was it just like you just pissed in it and then closed it and then went back to bed?
I went back to bed.
Bro, that's incredible. It's also like, shout out to, more power to you though, bro. A lot of people would have just pissed, on the floor or something like that.
I thought I was in like a designated piss zone. I thought like I was doing the right thing, but yeah, that was 2019.
Ooh, Spin Cycle, the Lyall Behrens story. That's the name of your documentary, bro.
I mean, like, I got enough credits, so I'm like, man, she should give me a weekend. But like, nah, I thought about, hey, Jenny, can I get a weekend and I'll get my own hotel? I'm trying to go to Sacramento.
Next time I see Jenny, I'll be like, hey, Jenny, you know what's so crazy? I walked up to the washer and I opened it up and there was piss in the washer. See if that sparks your memory. See if that brings you back.
Oh, this one comedian.
You're like, oh, he's a great guy. You should bring him back.
You know. I still do get. I did get an invite for the holiday party after though. So I'm like,
there you go. See, so it's still there. The opportunity's still there.
She probably
bro.
just didn't remember to take me off it.
Hey, you're in luck.
And on that note, cheers.
Cheers, bro. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.